Sarah Boone is facing second-degree murder charges in the death of her boyfriend. That's the most straightforward part of the story. Today, a judge granted her attorney's motion to withdraw, and they said a new trial was going to be in October, but now it's being pushed to December 11th. Now, this is not the first time that a lawyer has withdrawn from Boone's case, and Boone has been writing handwritten letters to the judge about her attorney withdrawing. Boone writes, "I can't ask my attorney because he's trying to withdraw again. I wouldn't get a response anyway." She continued to say that it's funny how the only piece of correspondence via mail is his motion to withdraw. So, as I mentioned before, this woman is charged in the death of her boyfriend, but here's the headline. She put him in a suitcase. And she claims they were, you've played drinking games before. Who hasn't put a loved one in a suitcase after, a drinking game? She does it in the evening. They're playing hide and seek, and then she goes to bed, forgets about him. And in the morning, he's dead. Now, let's listen to some of what the judge told Sarah Boone in his ruling on this withdrawal hearing today.
Ms. Boone, I read your letter dated August 26, 2023, and your letter dated August 30th, 2023. And just so we're clear, I read all of the letters that you send to the court. Whether I respond or not is based on what's in the letter and whether I'm asked to actually do something that's within my purview as a judge or not. If I understand correctly, you have now decided that you think it would be best, in fact, if Mr. Bankiewicz was allowed to withdraw. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you understand, by him withdrawing, I have to appoint another attorney. Do you understand that?
I do.
And that attorney's not standing here, so we're not going to be able to address, and I'll give the state a chance to talk to me as well, but assuming I grant this, we won't be able to address the other issues that were docketed for today, which means I'm going to have to reset your case for a later date. Do you understand that?
I'm not sure what items it is you're speaking of. I haven't received a copy yet of the letter.
So we're having a hearing today in regards to authorization for payment for an expert that your attorney believes he needs to defend you, and the issue about the compensation of that expert, which is why JAC is participating today. I don't know if your next lawyer is going to think that that expert's the right person to use, or whether they're going to go a different route after consulting with you. And even if they did, they're not standing here. And once Mr. Bankiewicz is out, he's out.
Wow, they were also fighting about getting some expert cash, because she didn't have the money to pay for experts. We got a lot of oddballs in play here today. But enough about Rich Schoenstein. Catherine Lizardo is here as well, guys. Thanks for joining. So, this case, Rich, and when I say case, I can't help but thinking of the suitcase. This just seems so weird, so unbelievable, that even if there was no evidence, which we're going to get to in a moment, of what she really did, does it track? Oh yeah, hey, we're playing hide and seek, having a couple of drinks, kind of forget time, and I left him in the suitcase. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a possibility, and I wonder if that's connected to this continuing changing of counsel, because I've heard references to her claiming a battered spouse defense, and I've heard references to, oh, it was an accident, we were playing a game, I forgot, I was drunk, I left him in the suitcase and I went to sleep. And I wonder if they're having trouble settling on what the defense is in this case. What exactly is her story? Was it something she did because in self-defense or because she was battered, or was it something she did by accident? Someone's going to have to make up their mind by the time this case goes to
I think
trial.
what they found was, Catherine, this video surfaced, which we're going to share in just a couple of moments here, and that kind of ruined the accident part of the defense. So they pivoted, and now the defense is this battered spouse syndrome. He was boyfriend, girlfriend, but you get the drill. And that the courts and juries have been very receptive to that kind of defense, Catherine.
Exactly. The problem was she actually recorded on her phone her boyfriend pleading to be let out of that suitcase because he was suffocating. And then she says that she went upstairs and he ended up dying from suffocation, exactly what he was saying there. That's why it shifted from being, oh, it was an accident, to now she did it intentionally because she was being battered and beaten up. But another pivot of the argument is the victim, her boyfriend, had bruises and laceration on his body at the time that they found him dead in the suitcase. So who actually was battering whom will be a big issue at the trial.
Yeah, that is a great point. Well, we've mentioned the video. Let's take a look at it. This was on her phone. Boy, I never imagined the police would look at my phone and see videos that I had on there, but they did. So this is the suitcase with the victim, whose name is Jorge Torres Jr. This is he in the suitcase and Sarah Boone having a conversation.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
F you.
Sarah.
F you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
It's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real or ransom. Now you want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you chewing on me.
Sarah. Breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the f*** up.
Sarah.
That is creepy. So then from that point forward, if you believe the prosecution, she went to bed and left him in the suitcase, and he's suffocated. Catherine Lizardo, is there enough from this piece of evidence to support this sort of domestic abuse, battered spouse syndrome?
Well, we'll need more evidence. That this alone is not enough, because it becomes the classic he said, she said, in terms of her saying that while she's videotaping it. And it reminds us of the trial of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where we've heard video and recording testimony of Amber Heard saying that she was getting abused when witnesses say that that's not what's happening, and vice versa. So there will be more evidence from the relatives, from their friends. What's interesting is the body camera from the police who responded at the scene. Boone was very concerned that Jorge Torres's family will kill her. Those are the words she said, because they never liked her. And so we'll definitely have interesting testimony from them.
Rich, this makes me wonder, a la the Depp case, who's really being abused, if either. I don't understand how the guy gets in the suitcase, zips himself in, or lets somebody else zip him in. There's something going on there.
Right. Well, in a lot of these cases, we find out, as we found out in Depp and Heard, that the abuse goes both ways, really. It's not one person abusing the other necessarily. Some of the relationships are just toxic. Now, this video eviscerates any argument that they were playing a game and it was just fun and she just forgot. I mean, that argument's gone. But what I think she could argue is some combination of she's a battered spouse and she's seeking retaliation, but she didn't intend to kill him. She was locking him in a suitcase to teach him a lesson, did not know that would kill him. I know he says he can't breathe, but when you say I can't breathe repeatedly, there is a suggestion that in fact you are breathing because you continue to talk. And she's obviously drunk in the,
George
in the
Floyd
video.
had that same analysis there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I mean, if somebody's saying, I can't breathe, you probably should take them at their word.
Right.
And stop doing whatever it is that
Well,
they're
I
saying
agree
keeps
with
them
that,
from breathing.
particularly if you have your knee on his throat.
Well, yes.
But she's drunk and she's put him in a suitcase, and there may be an argument there that there was no intent to kill, at least maybe to reduce this from any kind of intentional murder
And
count.
I think that's probably, if you look at the charging documents, Catherine, that makes perfect sense. You know, it's a second-degree murder case, so they're taking that off the table. And they could even see, you know, voluntary or involuntary manslaughter. It's, you know, there's certainly some culpability here, but it'll be very interesting to see how a jury deals with it. How would you roll that out for them if you were the prosecution to get the top charge?
Well, if I was the prosecution, to really show that and emphasize that video that we saw, where she not so much as intentionally, but she had that perception in her mind that she wanted to retaliate against him, like what Rich was doing, and that is sufficient enough to elevate her charge and her conviction to that second-degree murder. Of course, there's going to be other evidence as to their 4-year relationship, because they've been together for 4 years, and what has happened during that time and what has people witnessed during that time.
I think what's really going to be important, I get back to, you know, just the fact this guy was in the suitcase. I think they're going to be able to paint a picture of her dominating this guy over the years to say, hey, just get in the suitcase. This will be fun. This will be crazy. You know, she's sloshed. You can tell from her speech in that video. I think it's a way to paint a picture of her being the abuser, and I would not be surprised to see that. We'll continue to watch this. It will unfold over the next couple of months. Trial in December. This is the case against Sarah Boone. So stay where you are. We're coming back. More cases that we are covering that are teed up as we will continue to cover